Final match of what has been an astonishing afternoon session on the final day here at the International Darts Open, and what an opportunity for either of these two players. We are guaranteed to have another qualifier to make their way through to the last eight of this, the penultimate event of the European Tour in 2018, because it features the host nation qualifier and Germany's number 2 Martin Schindler and Ryan Searle, the man who last night disposed of the number 1 seed and the defending champion Peter Wright by 6 legs to 4. It has been a heck of a journey for both of these two players. 3 wins in qualifying apiece, 2 wins already this weekend. Ryan Searle has already seen off 1 German player as well in the shape of Ricardo Pietreczko. Can he see off another? That is the question that he faces. But this, well, we talk about opportunities in life and breakthroughs in careers.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg is Ryan to throw first. Game on.
Just to put some further gloss on what this means for Ryan Searle, he's earned, given he's guaranteed £3,000 here, whatever happens, he's earned £12,000 in the last 12 days. In the previous 12 months, he earned £10,750. He has more than doubled his take-home pay from the 12 months previous. This is such a wonderful 2 weeks in his career. It's career-changing, it's potentially life-changing. Who knows what this will do for Ryan Searle? It will make such a difference to him. It's been such a lucrative September so far, and he'll come into this match, I'm sure, Paul Nicholson, with a huge amount of self-belief, and to some extent you have to say the pressure is off Ryan Searle in many ways.
I think you've got to say that that's the case, especially with this fixture here, where Martin is going to get all of the fan support. Taking into consideration the beaten game with Max Hopp last night,
35.
Don't think the crowd are going to go full on Saarbrücken. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but decent start from Ryan. Gets himself down to 107 after 12.
They heard you, Paul.
Yeah, Martin's been playing very well this season.
141. Ryan Uruguay, 107.
Well, if you're a betting person, you've only got 10 players to choose from when it comes to who's going to win this one now.
47.
And I, for one, can't pick one. It could be James Richardson. It could be Simon Whitlock. I think if I was pushed, I'd probably say Simon. Adrian Lewis. Danny Noppert. Fabulous tournament so far. Toss for Searle.
Yeah, on the first leg, Ryan.
Steady, 17-dart leg, which was greeted with
silence.
About as much noise as you get inside a thimble on a Sunday afternoon.
You could hear a pin drop when that one landed, and that's exactly what Ryan Searle has got to do. Shindy, he'd never won a match at this tournament prior to this weekend. He had a first-round defeat by Richie Corner last year, but he soon changed all that. He overcame Ron Moulenkamp and then Kim Huybrechts, beating the number 16 seed by 6 legs to 1. There was so much to admire about that. He raced into a 4-0 lead. There was a tops finish in the third. 180s along the way as well. Huybrechts threatened to stage a fight back when he checked out on 139, but it proved to be a false dawn for him. And Shindy duly rattled off the next 2.
140.
He's got to get himself into this game, Shindy, because he can't afford to let Ryan Searle run. He's one of those streaky players that when he gets a run going, like he did against Peter Wright last night, he doesn't seem to look back a lot.
60.
And that's fine as long as he takes that shot next time round. Ryan Searle will be looking for a 140 to pressure.
Yeah, very different start for Schindler, this compared to his win yesterday. It was a adrenaline-charged surge against Huybrechts, and he's not had that so far. But there is time for him to come good. Double 8 here for Shindy, and he's bust his score. He can't afford to do that too often today, because Ryan Searle is looking at 124 for a break of throw. Treble 18 would leave the bullseye.
That would have stung. But now,
76.
Same equation, different answer required. Different target up the top of the board.
36. Ryan, you
You
require
can see the
25.
collective anguish on the faces of the locals inside the Saxon Arena. Double four.
Yes, on the second leg.
And again,
Ryan
silence
Searle.
greets Ryan Searle's
Third leg is
second
Ryan
leg.
to throw first.
And when you go back
Game
to
on.
Ryan Searle and his route here, and when you consider the trouble he had, not just qualifying for this, I don't mean in terms of getting here, I mean actually physically travelling here on Thursday and Friday, given the problems he had on the motorway in England, on the M5 in his native Somerset. It was not the ideal preparation for him.
140.
Well, everybody's got a story to tell, whatever tournament they go to. Some of them just blend into each other. Feels like another day in Barnsley.
140.
But this one's been a bit different for Ryan. And if he was to go all the way, then he'd just have one of the most extraordinary tales to tell.
140.
Darts has probably never heard.
Well, he'll be hoping it's just another day in Wigan, actually, because when they last met for the only time, it was at the Players' Championship last year, one of the early events last year, and Searle won it by 6 legs to 2. So that's the only previous encounter we've got to go on.
And Searle, of course, got his tour card by the Challenge Tour. He came second in the order of merit.
Behind somebody called Rob Cross, who...
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But then Martin got his tour card on day 4.
96.
So it's pretty much the same boat. Just over 18 months ago, but both of them are looking pretty decent to get their tour cards, that's for sure. Both have showed legitimate form over the last 18 months.
34.
But now, double 17 for Ryan. Listen to this if he hits it. And he's not. Chances.
18. Martin Uruguay, 68.
Well, it's a good chance for Schindler to break back. The average for Schindler, by the way, way down on the stuff he's produced so far this weekend. 97 and 96 so far. Won't care too much about the averages.
48.
If he gets this leg, and he hasn't.
16.
He's not as sharp as yesterday, that's for sure.
No, something's not quite right with Shindy so far.
Yeah,
Whether it's the occasion,
Riesa.
every round that you play, obviously the pressure intensifies. He's playing in front of an expectant crowd here. They've been singing his name all day.
96.
Well, Ryan is used to playing the crowd favourite. Yesterday he beat Peter Wright, and I'm sure there were a lot of people in the audience who weren't too pleased with the Axl Rose lookalike. Arguably their favourite son, with the exception of maybe Martin and Max Hopp. Everybody was so happy to see Peter last night, and they only saw him for 20 minutes.
Well, 17 darters all the way so far for Ryan Searle, but it's been more than enough.
From a technical perspective, Rob, there's a lot about Ryan Searle that's nice. There's a lot of freedom in the arm, but there are things that go wrong. I've got to be honest, he does walk very swiftly on his third dart. It's a very raw throw for me. Very, very natural.
134.
Throws a very old school dart as well. We'll get into that in a little while, but 134 for Shindy. That leaves 32. Oh yeah! What a way to wake the crowd up. 134 of the best. Different atmosphere in here now.
Yeah, you just wonder whether that's the moment that Shindy needed, just to give the crowd something to cling to. And of course, Shindy in turn will thrive of what the crowd can throw back at him. But Searle, not bothered by that, kicking off with a 140.
Yeah, the equipment from both guys, very, very different.
57.
May look very similar to you guys at home, but to me, very different. Big, thick, old school type barrel from Ryan. He throws them very lightly, so they do gather together very well. Martin with a barrel that's very fat in the middle, skinny at the top and skinny at the bottom.
40.
He, like Johnny Clayton, likes that taper at the end. He likes to get them close together. Ryan doesn't have that.
85.
Almost looks like a submarine.
Because Shindy used to have the darts that, when they hit the board, they boinged, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think the whole flexible point is a bit of a fad.
45.
People tried it, like Martin Schindler, like Gabriel Clemens, and ultimately both of them have gone back to solid point.
Yeah.
131.
Peter Wright tried it, went back to the solid point. It's no coincidence that Martin Schindler plays better with the solid point. I'm not particularly certain that Clemens plays better with the flexible point, but that double 12, just double checked by the referee. It's 4-1 Searle.
Well, that's a really good response, because Shindy could easily have got a bit of momentum behind him there after that 1-3-4 checkout, but he responds with a 13 dart leg that started with that Sun 40, and it was consistently good throughout. That was a really good leg by Ryan Searle, a really good measured response.
100.
Lovely side-on view of both of the guys there. Nice high elbow from Martin Schindler that doesn't deviate, he doesn't drop it. You can see with Ryan, aims the first one and the next, straight up, straight through, and a little bit of a lean on that third dart. And I'm not a massive advocate for that as a coach, but there are a lot of players who do it. They feel it's something that gives them a bit of impetus on the scoring part of playing. People like Kyle Anderson, and that's unfortunate. Feels that if they get 2 treble 20s and they lean into that third dart, it just gives them a little bit of an extra advantage trying to put them all together. Speaking of putting them all together, there you go, Shindy.
Well, it's on the Schindler throw, so again, Ryan Searle won't be too flustered by this. It's unfortunate that he did have points on the floor, because he might not have been too far away. As it is, Schindler just has a little bit to work with. He's got the double 12, and it is 4-2, but no need for Searle to press the panic button just yet.
Just another brick in the wall, just another leg on the board.
Ryan Searle playing in his first ever third round match in a European Tour event, and he's still 2 legs away from a first ever quarter-final appearance on the European stage, and it would be against Gerwyn Price for the right to meet either Steve West or Adrian Lewis in the semi-finals.
43.
Ryan Searle, in fact, has only played 6 matches on the European Tour. He's won 3 and lost 3 now, so that's not a bad return.
Brilliant from Schindler. That second dart just shielded the first one. He was able to nestle it under the first one. This is a very, very big leg for Martin Schindler if he wants to get through. He can't afford to let Ryan Searle get to 5.
Needs 2 trebles, well, he needs 1 certainly, and he's got 1. A second would be a bonus.
96.
That's all right. Leaves 170. Searle would dig a 140 here.
97.
And that's quite good thinking, that, actually, because 130 is very hittable. Only needs 1 treble and a single in the 20, but hang about. Hang about! Oh! Wonderful! Wonderful, Martin Schindler! That is brilliant from him, and he denies him the opportunity at that 130, Ryan Searle. That's brought everybody off the chair.
Look at that, 134 and the 170, and it's a break of throw, and Martin Schindler, it's safe to say, has found his range and his shooting boots here. 2 12 darters and a 13 darter. Either side of that 13 darter from Ryan Searle. It's a good standard now, and there's certainly a game on our hands here. What a way to bring down the afternoon session. This is very much game on now.
Well, when you hit a 170 like that, your heart starts going like the clappers. So he's got to calm down a little bit. He's had a 58 half dodgy start to this leg, and Ryan is just pummeling him in the scoring stakes.
121.
Yeah, 91 and a 58. He's furious with that last dart because he knows that was a chance to kick on. As it is, it's a good point you've made there, Paul. Schindler just has to keep, well, he's hit the height, but now he's got to go again. He's almost gone right back to the bottom, and he's got to just try and maintain this intensity that he's threatening to produce. But
what he's got to do now, Schindler, is leave something like 115. That's the best start he's thrown in the leg.
Maybe 75. No, it won't be.
155 is almost like a C+. But that's a perfect second dart, and a third. Wonderfully done from Ryan Searle.
Yeah, this is a great chance for a break now. Schindler has really got his work cut out, but you wouldn't put it past him. He's already taken out the biggest check out of the lots.
Biggest moment of the match coming up.
42.
I would say so. I mean, that was a big moment with Schindler, but it might count for nothing because Ryan Searle, okay, it's not a 170 checkout, but it's a 14-dart break of throw that gets him back in control. And again, it's all about that response factor that we were talking about earlier with Searle. He's done that time and again this weekend.
100.
I'm shaking my head here, Rob, because I am flabbergasted by the amount of respect this crowd has had for technically the away team.
I would not have been surprised at all. Had we been, I mean, we're sort of respecting the Riesa crowd. I think elsewhere, I wouldn't have been surprised had Ryan Searle, when looking at that finish there, wouldn't have had a backdrop of booing and whistling and isolated shouting.
We've been to places
barely
like
a whisper, barely a whisper.
Yeah, Rotterdam, Glasgow, Aberdeen, all over the Premier League, all over the Euro Tour. You get home fans, like in Austria with Mensa Service. We were both there, Rob. That was absolutely nuts. But they have been impeccable here for both players. It's a credit to the sport and credit to the German fans, this place. It's been amazing. Game ain't over yet, but it's getting very close. He needs another bit of magic just to stay alive, Martin Schindler.
He's left that double 18, which he does like. Treble 19 for the bullseye. For another astonishing break of throw. And this time he cannot find the red button.
Ryan require 36.
And Ryan Searle will step up to the hockey. He'll step up to the plate. And he'll target double 18. And for the first time in his career, Ryan Searle is through to a European